We're back here in the tackle room, and today we're talking about the craziest chatterbait hack that I know of, and how a few things have changed since we last talked about it. That's right, I'm talking about the freak rig. You don't want to miss this one. Stick around. And here is this video's featured comment. Congratulations! If you would like to have a chance to have your comment featured in an upcoming video, all you've got to do is leave a comment. And now, on with the video. We're back here in the tackle room, and it's no secret that I like to play around with different types of baits, different types of presentations, right? I'm the guy who takes skirts off of bitsy bugs and bitsy flip jigs and puts wacky rig worms on them. You know, the wacky jig or the stupid rig, right? Now, I didn't come up with this per se, although taking the jig off of it is kind of what I've been known for. This works so well around wood, and it's something that I've worked really well for me. It's something that has really worked well for me so far this summer, and you know, in past videos, you guys have seen me fishing with this quite a lot. I'm also the guy, you know, who likes to take 1/0 EWG hooks with a 5-inch stick bait and put a 1/16 ounce tungsten weight into them and call it a Waco rig because it gives it, you know, a fall just like a wacky rig, but yet you get the weedlessness, the ease of use of a Texas rig, you know. So, but probably my craziest concoction, right? Probably the craziest thing that I've ever made is this guy right here, the freak rig, you know. This here, this is a chatterbait or bladed jig blade that I get off of Barlow's. You know, you can buy these online if you're a jig maker, you like to make your own jigs, or you like to make, you know, turn your existing jigs into bladed jigs. You can buy these online, and they're not really that expensive. You can buy them in packs of 10, and they come in different sizes. You know, I use them for not just my jig making, as you can see. So there's a couple of different configurations that I like to do when it comes to the freak rig. This here, this is one of them. This is a, you know, Arky hook. I believe that's what this is, a 1/16 weighted hook. And I put a split ring here, and then I've got one of those bladed jig attachments, you know, with a snap right there. And there you go. That's all there is to it. Now, I do like how this fishes, but this is not the only way that I can make these. You don't have to go out and get all that tackle at Barlow's or any place like that. You can just go to your local tackle shop, you know, or you can go to Tackle Warehouse, or you can click my affiliate link below, plug, and buy these Queen Tackle switchblades. These things essentially turn any jig into a bladed jig. As a matter of fact, they'll turn any bait into a bladed jig. I've used these not just on bladed jigs, not just on Texas rigs, but I've also put them on jerk baits, you know, just for laughs to see what would happen. And that result was kind of interesting. But, you know, these are pretty standard fare. It's pretty easy to make a freak rig. You know, you just want to have a 4/0 EWG hook, and I've got a 1/16 ounce tungsten nail weight right here. Now, assembling a freak isn't really that hard, and it really doesn't matter which way you choose to do it. The way that I'm going to show you right now is with the switchblade, because, well, that's probably the easier one for most people. Is you just take one of the switchblades and you take a pair of needle nose pliers, and you've got these tabs right here that are on the bottom, and you just make sure you bend those out. Well, you bend one side out if you want to, and you've got that little bar. There's a little bar right there, and you pop that out. Alright, now once you get that threaded through there, you get it through the eye, the line tie there, and you go ahead and you can close that back up with a pair of needle nose. You know, make sure that you've got a little hole through, make sure that barb, you know, pokes back through the little hole the way it's supposed to. And that right there is basically the start of the freak rig. Now, when you're rigging these up, just Texas rig it, you know, like you normally would, right? That's all you've got to do. The worm's a little slippery. Okay, you've got your Texas rigged worm right there. Now, what you're going to do is, after you get that done, you're going to take this 1/16 ounce tungsten weight, and you're going to put it down the outside right here, okay, the outside of the worm, like this, and this will give it the weight it needs to fall, to swim, to do what you need. And there you go, that's the finished product, right? So put your switchblade on, thread your worm on, put your tungsten weight in, make sure you can get it down there as far as you want to, and there you go. And then this will be ready for the water. And in the water, it's got such crazy action. Now, this isn't made to swim. You could swim it through the water like a regular chatterbait, but depending on your setup, this will probably want to spin in the water. But dodging raindrops, dodging thunderstorms, that's kind of what we've had a lot of around here lately. I was at least able to get out to the lake and fish this around a little bit so I can show you some of the different ways that I've come up with working this, because there has been a few changes. Before I was doing a pretty standard retrieve where I would just kind of pop the slack out of it and let it kind of dance in place. You guys kind of remember that who watched that video before. But there's a couple more retrieves, a couple of different ways that I have found that has really been working well, especially here in the summer. And let's get out on the water and I can show you just exactly what those retrieves were like and the gear that I was doing it on. Alright, you guys remember that, right? That's the freak rig. Oops. That is the freak rig. My secret little thing that I made. It's basically a Texas rig with a chatterbait on it. Can you see that action in the water? Let me put it out there a little bit more. See, whenever that's what it looks like whenever I do that. And I've been using it, but actually I have come up with a bunch of different ways that I'm using it now. It's way more versatile than I thought at first. We're going to go ahead and cast it out there, kind of let it sink a little bit, right? And the first thing I want to do is I kind of want to work it back like a jerkbait. I'm just going to kind of bounce it, popping the slack out of it with each cast, or with each little rip here, just making sure that I keep it moving. I don't want any pauses. I'm working it like I would a jerkbait in summer. I'm kind of doing it like this. I'm popping the slack out of the line is what I'm doing, keeping it working along, keeping it moving along. And it has such a crazy action in the water. We're going to cast it out there, let it go, let it do what it's going to do. And this is a sink. This is a sinking bait. So I'm working it like I would a jerkbait in summer. Jerk, crank, the same way. And each time I do that, it's got such a crazy erratic action to it. It really will call fish away, from a good ways away. That's what I've been experiencing. You can get a lot of reaction strikes doing just that. Another way we can work it is to cast it out there and let it sink all the way down to the bottom. We're going to let it just go ahead and fall all the way to the bottom. And then we're just going to do it. We're going to pull it and then reel in that slack and then drag it and then reel in that slack, just like you would a Texas rig, right, or a jig. Just pull that along the bottom and just reel in the slack. Pull it to the side and just reel in the slack. And you can feel, every time you do that, you can feel the blade vibrating. You can feel that thing going thump, thump, thump. So I mean, it's a lot more, you know, it's a lot more vocal, it's a lot noisier, you know, than a regular traditional Texas rig. And just, let's say, just drag it along the bottom. Cast it out there. You do have to make really big wide angle swings with it. You can't short, otherwise you'll get helicopter casts. That is one drawback to it. But just kind of drag it along. You can definitely feel it. You can see the tip of my rod just, you know, and you can, right there, you can feel that thing coming through the grass. Just sweeping it along. You get a bit of grass in it. Don't be afraid to give her a rip. Oh yeah, you can definitely feel it when it's coming through that grass. Big wide swing. You know, make sure your arms are good and extended when you're casting it, otherwise you may get some helicopter casts. And that's because the bait tends to be more front weighted. But anyway, you know, and then you can kind of give it little pops like that. You know, that's the last way of getting the, you know, that's the last retrieve that I use, is just kind of popping it in place. You know, and each time I do that, I can feel that blade. You know, and I can let it sit there, and I can let it soak. You know, and then pop it again, and then let it sit there and let it soak. There's just, I don't know, there's several different retrieves that I've been working with. I can cast it out there. And when you cast, you want to make sure that your arms are extended. Don't bring them in, because otherwise you'll get those helicopter casts. And on a spinning rod, even with braid, that's not the best thing. So there you have it. The freak rig. Something out of my crazy mind, but it works so well. If you're looking to give those bass a different sort of presentation, something for them to key off on and give a really strong reaction bite to, give this a try. They're not really that hard to put together, and once you assemble 2 or 3 of them, you really get the hang of it. And they come through the grass really exceptionally well. They work really well in really thick vegetation. I think that you'll really be amazed at how well they work. Thanks for watching Lowbrow Fishing. We'll catch you in the next one.